Okay, so I'm Hunter from Saints Can Lie. No, sorry, wait. My name is Bryce. Bryce is way cooler than me. Today we're going to be doing some Ask Me Anything, Q&A, yada, 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 about our new song, Doubt, featuring Dave. I guess I'll go ahead and let everybody fly on in here. Start with my least favorite. John, how are you doing, man? Are you here? Are you close by? John, where are you at? Say hey to everybody.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I'm sure they can. Jake, how you doing, man?
Good morning.
Oh. Sunny side up here in Dallas, Texas. I like it. And then Bryce, the guy who's been dealing with a headache and a half to get his stuff to work. Bryce, how you doing?
I am here, and I am unhappy with technology today.
Yeah. And
But yes, hello everybody. I am very excited to chat today.
Of course, he's got his voice actor shtick going.
Oh, I can lay that on thick.
Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing today?
There it is. We released a new song this past weekend. It was it's been loved by so many and greatly appreciated because it's been crushing self-doubt. Pun intended, I guess. Here in a second, we're gonna watch it together, to which I'm sure everyone here has already seen it. But I'm gonna play Doubt by Saints Can Lie, official music video, #official. Official. I can't wait to be struck for this song that is mine. So
I will approve that strike, 100%.
Okay. Perks of being in a band that has more than one person in it. So always a sucker for some slow-mo.
On the bright side, this music video is probably by far like our most consistent with shot continuity, which is something we've always had issues with in previous videos.
Takes a lot of being bad before you're good. Always look back at that shot, and I don't know how I didn't bust, because we'll look back at it again in a second, but the angle I was spinning was concerning.
It's because Jeremy wanted us to full send, and nothing needed to make sense. It was all about the shot.
I had totally forgotten how that was done until we mentioned it before doing the stream.
And then this wicked last shot. Frickin' got Will Ramos over here on the left. Frickin' John. Looking sick. And then Bryce is coming out of the TV. Frickin' the ring chick. So I'm gonna run this back. I'm gonna just put it on like a very important frame. All right, so oh, Unplugged already coming out with the one question I didn't want to answer. When was the video shot / recorded? I can't remember. Was it 18 or 19?
I want to say it was March of
2019.
Yeah, it was. We're the kings of slow operating.
Here's the deal, though. We had a single version of this that was done with the video. We probably could have released it like that summer, and we were really close to doing it. But then some of the album stuff finally started clicking, and before we knew it, we were like, I don't want to put something out and then it be another year, because we'd already done that with Persevere and then Hate and then Nothing, and it was like, we don't want to do a single every year. That's kind of ridiculous. So we figured it'd be better to just, get our stuff together and try to be a little more consistent.
We took baby steps to do this, do that, do this, and everything was coming together. And it was very much that I think we all were kind of getting on the same page that it's coming, it's getting close, but the timeline, like being able to future sight it was unheard of for us because it's a lot of situations we had never been in before.
Mm-mm.
It's I don't know. Well, one thing I want to say is, like, at that timeline, John, you hadn't been in the band for very long at all, right?
About a year at this point.
Was it 2017 or 18?
It was late 2017, early 18, like whenever started actually doing stuff with you guys.
Right, he joined at a great time.
Yeah,
he popped in, and then we
to...
got that I Set to Kill run, and then he got to film a music video with Dave.
So immediately he's like, oh, there's stuff happening.
All of that.
Even better, we were like, do you want to be in Saints? It was like, yeah, and then right as he answered it, we just tossed him in a plane and threw to Chicago.
Wasn't that like, it felt like the following weekend It was like,
it really did. It's like, hey, here's Saints, and also here's your ticket to Chicago. See you in the morning.
I guess I'll start just pointing out different nuggets of information. When this was our first time we had seen Jeremy in a while, wasn't it? It was like
Yeah,
it was
since
a
Persevere.
year. Yeah, it was a year between shoots, and this was actually shot in Dallas versus Chicago for Persevere. I remember seeing him, and I got felt nostalgic and like happy to see him. Me and Jake drove down there, and I was like, "Oh, it's Jeremy." He's like, "Oh, dude, I'm so glad to see him." It was cool, and it didn't feel like a year, but also we were like, we're really slow at doing this, but we're excited to shoot this video. I was a tad nervous because had we met up with Dave before this? I don't think we had. Did any of you
No,
guys?
this was.
No.
I don't know if Jake met him beforehand. I don't think so. I remember we got there. We were kind of staging. Jeremy was getting us comfortable with the room and whatnot. And then Dave texts me and he's like, at the building, but I don't know where to go. And so I ran around the entire building. He like pulled up and just got out of his car. He's like, hey, man. I was like, hey, it's on the other side. He's like, oh, okay. And I was about ready to walk back. He's like, I could give you a ride to the other side of the building, so you have to walk back. And I was like, okay, thanks. Like,
Immediately,
it's such an
kidnapping
obvious
Dave already.
thing that it was so funny because I was so nervous to like meet him in like a non-concert setting. Because I grew up going to Crown shows and like I basically met those guys as much as I could when I was younger. But I don't know, it was just a different context. You know, he was there to perform in a video with us, and so like a totally different environment. We were going to be spending a couple hours with him. And I was just kind of like, to a cheesy extent, nervous about the situation. So we rode around, we went inside, and honestly, we kind of hoped that he would say yes to being in the video because we had Jeremy. Our music video director goes way back with Dave from his original band, Euphony. And their guitar player, Brandon, also did our first ever recording. So lots of little networking things there. But long story short, they knew each other. So we were hoping it'd make him more comfortable. And then he agreed to it. So it kind of helped everyone ease in because it's almost like reconnecting as like a family. They caught up and we kind of got included in that since we knew Jeremy. We had talked to Dave, you know, back and forth just over the song itself. So I think once we got rolling, it was super comfortable. I mean, I think most of our behind the scenes footage we got from that day is just us talking the entire time. He was super, super cool.
Jake, I'm sure you have some nuggets to kind of scratch the surface on what it was like shooting the video that day.
Crown the Empire was one of the bands that definitely threw me into what I do today, especially from Dave. He was the first screamer that I had seen live, first band I'd ever seen live, and I just instantly fell in love with the genre. So actually getting to meet up with him and shoot a music video, let alone having him feature on a track, that was just so surreal.
Yeah, he was an awesome dude. John, what do you got?
I was completely starstruck at the idea that Dave was going to be on this video because, like I said, I was just barely a year into this whole thing, and it was odd enough for these guys to say, "Hey, Dave's going to feature on a track." Awesome. Oh, hey, he's also going to be in this video. Wait, what? And I wasn't there whenever he had first came in. I guess I went to the gas station or something. But whenever I came back, I came back and he was just picking up my bass and just asking me questions about it. And I was too starstruck to really answer anything. I was just like, I don't really know.
Yeah.
Little last side tangent. It's so funny you mentioned going to the gas station, because here's a nugget from me. If you pay attention to details, my tongue is blue. We went to the gas station and I got a Gatorade.
Yes. I was going to say, I was just recently noticing that watching the video again. I was like, did you eat like a fruit roll up or something? Markham, seeing Jake with Dave is super fun for me. Yeah, dude, it's so anime. It was so anime because back in 2012 when Saints started and we went to their Fallout release show and none of us knew how to do anything, and Jake didn't even know how to scream, and then he's turned into the powerhouse that he is now, and then standing alongside the guy that he was like aspiring to be. Jake's got his own cool anime arc. So Unplugged. Another comment on Doubt. I actually really like the lightly layered. I can't read. Lightly layered chorus, unless I'm tripping. Oh no, you're not tripping. Or maybe you are. Gaslight my viewers. No, can only hear it with headphones though. Yes, recording the stuff. It's we did harmonies for everything, and I wanted the harmonies to contribute to where it's kind of a felt not heard. That's an expression I've used in the studio quite a lot. If I was to mute those harmonies, you'd notice, but leaving them in, you might not notice. You would notice if some of these things are missing. but they everything in there contributes. Jake did amazing. He's like, well, in the meantime, Jake was just like, oh, I got a speed run learning how to sing. Killed it.
He also had to re-record this song from scratch. Like I said, we had anticipated on releasing this when we filmed it. As we kept recording, we were like, yeah, no, this isn't up to snuff anymore. Jake had been taking lessons for a long time. We were like, sorry, bud, we're going to redo it. Even though this video is from 2019, the song is from this past year. We completely re-recorded it from the ground up, which is hilarious since no one actually got to hear the original version.
There was so much work put in between when we had the version that we filmed the video with and then when we actually filmed the version that you're hearing. And between that time period, I ended up taking maybe like a year's worth of vocal lessons, taking time to get better at my craft, went to college for music. It's been a long way, and hopefully, this isn't the finish line.
Oh, layered choir. Oh yeah, there is a choir and a half in there unplugged. We had tons of awesome people come in and contribute their lovely vocal instruments to just tons of awesome people. And then Caleb, I didn't realize this was recorded in 2019. How was the anticipation? Oh, it was, as we said earlier, we had
maddening.
we had shot Persevere Your Prior, and then the anticipation for shooting the video, and then sitting on the video, and then finally having it coming out it was all like its own cathartic experience. Let's see. With the video, I want to point out something actually about John. The more I watch it, the more I realize John was just on point with his presence. Dude didn't even care. And I like how we had like hooked you in to make you look like you were plugged in. You're like, nah, I'm just going to show you how much
this still for me.
Yes, I can. Specifically of Jake, I'm guessing.
Yes.
That is such a meme face. All right, let me
I will add to that. Yeah, John honestly joined in, and then like even his screams at the time, as soon as he joined in, we were like, "Where's that been?"
Yeah.
Well, it was just something that I just did in my car, and then one day I just decided, hey guys, I think I could scream.
I think.
Oh gosh, I don't know if Discord's gonna be able to handle it. Michael, can John do his Randy Savage impression?
Should we give a headphone warning?
Freak show! You're going nowhere! I got you for 3 minutes!
Oh, it's so good. Let me see. I want to go to that one section of the video where I was talking about like this slow-mo. And then before I explain how this shot was done, let me play this in slow-mo. YouTube's sad excuse for a slow-mo, but I'm glad it. So this shot right here sounds amazing. Good old Dave. And then right here, so John has done this jump like a million times. Me, I didn't realize what leg I was supposed to spin with. So I'm spinning on my opposite leg, and I was like, well, I'll spin that same direction, but I didn't realize what John was doing. And I'm going on my heel, and then you see this tilt. I'm gonna die. Like, this is the last thing I'm doing. Let me put
John looks like he's gonna get that kickflip one of these days.
Yeah.
One of these days.
1000%. So with this, he wanted to do something where he could widen out the shot, do like a slow-mo, like just this big cinematic pullback that it's letting the shot grow. And he tried quite a few, because we were in this big brick studio that had like nothing in there except for like, as you notice, this little in the corner power extension cord thing. You probably don't see my mouse. He was like waddling back, and it was just too shaky for the camera, and he was going to shoot high frame rate, obviously do the slow-mo. And he was like, wait. And he turned and he looked off in the corner, and this was like a pretty decent sized place. In this random little closet, he saw like next to it, like an old rickety office chair. Like I'm talking like $5.50 from Walmart used like trash chair. And I was like, what is he gonna do with that? Is he getting lazy? He's just sitting. He goes and grabs a chair and brings it up, and then what he does is he like sits in it and scoots back. And he checks the footage. He's like, oh yeah, let's do this. And so we kept doing that shot over and over again. So as the shot goes, he's in this chair that pretty much fell apart after these takes. getting this shot rolling backwards, doing a slow-mo. And it was so cool. It was like great value track system, like it was a movie. What are some other particular moments for you other guys that stuck out about the whole thing, other than like me almost dying to death? Start with John. Any other things like nerding out about the shoot?
I remember whenever we started this and we didn't actually have any of those cables, and then Dave was like, "So y'all are just not going to be plugged into anything? Do you guys have like just spare guitar cables?" I was like, "Actually, I do. I'll be right back."
Jeremy had the idea of like, let me go to a shot where you can kind of see where right here, that looks like it's a guitar cable. And Jeremy was like, let's do this. He plugs it in and he rolls up the rest of it. He goes, put that in your back pocket. I was like, that's what? This is what we pay you for.
I mean, I guess I kind of spilled the beans a little early on my nugget with my Gatorade conundrum, but it was hot in that room. And I remember it being really humid that day, so the walk to that gas station was not fun. And I'm already a sweaty boy as it is. And I'm surprised that someone ain't commented about that yet, but...
Bryce.
I remember that when we first got set up with the drums, we were kind of panicking because, like, this was before we really planned out, like, being in, like, an actual building where there's nowhere for the drum sound to carry. And we were kind of stressing about it not being so noisy that you guys couldn't hear. And we had to get kind of creative with, like, miming to the song, essentially.
The cymbals were so
loud.
Because brick and cymbals don't get along.
The hardest part for me was just the halfway point where it slows down. It's just a bunch of quarter note impact points, basically. I was having a lot of trouble like hearing when the cymbals would come in because the click track wasn't loud enough to like. I would hit my drums and then just almost lose it. So if the song wasn't constantly going, it was hard for me to hear what I was doing.
That's where Jeremy saved the day, dude. Like I think the slow mo and like cutting around it because I feel like we never got it dead on. But the video, you wouldn't know that because he did a great job.
You can actually see where I like gave up and started doing the hi-hat pulses in some of the shots because it was the only way I could stay on time, even though it's not in the song. Yeah, let's see if you can spot it.
Yep, I see your foot going right there, and then not in that shot, and then yep,
yeah, there it is.
Yeah, the hat pulses. Yep, because you were.
It's the only way I was gonna hit it. It was pain. The last thing I wanted to add, I guess, is just kind of adding on to Dave giving us advice. That was another thing, is instead of showing up, doing his stuff, and leaving, he was pretty involved throughout the entire process. Like, hey, you guys should definitely do more energy. And like his other thing was like,
co-directed it, yeah.
Yeah, he was awesome. He was like, hey, you guys look good, but like basically you need to overact everything. Like that's why this is by far the most energetic music video we've put out. And that was one of the first compliments I saw in one of our YouTube comments was the energy in this is insane. I was like, that's the best thing I've ever read because we've been growing in this for so long and it's so hard not to look awkward. And like behind the scenes, the stuff's always trickier than it looks. It was just cool to finally put something out that people were like 100% sold on.
I'm getting all of these great stills.
My jaw looks dislocated here.
Yeah, you look like the original troll meme. Casey, I may have missed this, but if you haven't yet, give us some backstory on writing Doubt. You have not missed this, and you actually started the thing. So Doubt was written in 30 minutes. Doubt was one of those that it was like we had the first half, and like Bryce actually helped me with that first breakdown. It's good when your drummer has a little bit of a grasp on guitar because rhythmically he can really contribute. But after that, it's like, all right, cool. Hand me the guitar. Bryce, stop. Bryce, hand me the guitar. It's
O's and ones for days.
Yeah, it's so many of our songs were, hey, we got the first half. Doubt.
This song in particular was like we sat on that first minute and a half for a while. I mean, maybe not as much as like another song that we'll talk about another time. But
oh yeah, good old track 3.
Yep.
Yeah, that was on the back burner basically the entire process of the record. It didn't finally come together until 2020, I believe. Yeah, I was at Bryce's house and we were noodling around and it was like a rip off of a Memphis riff. Anything I write is just a rip off of somebody else. Just You Gotta Catch Me. It's Scooby-Doo award to everything. He almost got away with it. Really derive a lot of inspiration for the people I was listening to at the time. I mean, Memphis was a big one, and the second half of the song, the key change came out of nowhere, and it was all happening like in the moment at in Bryce's bedroom. And we had a little rickety setup on like his dresser and stuff, and my setup still wasn't that great either. But Bryce, if you want, you kind of talk about what it was like when we finally like pulled Doubt together, because we finished in that evening, I think, instrumentally.
Yeah, so basically we were tired of sitting on that because I think we sat on it for like a couple months. We were really sick of it because we were like, man, this opening riff up through that breakdown is so good. I'm pretty sure it was just like the guitar riff and the breakdowns. I don't even think we had the chorus yet. And then I basically was like, everything we have so far is so fast. Like, just hear me out. What if we like really slow it down and have a build? And that's like all I had was, why don't we slow it down and have a build? And that was like my whole thought process. And so we just noodled around with that for a while. Hunter came out with the I think we even had some placeholder chords. It was just like da da to kind of get the flow together. He came up with the chord progression, and I think the last thing I contributed was when he had the chords, I took the guitar and I kind of did the da 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 da.
Oh yeah, and you did the walk-ups too, because I showed you the frets of the chords that I pulled together, and you're like, hey, let me try it. And it was kind of like back and forth, because I remember it was, which chord? It was the moment I hit that one right there, that inverted chord, and we land and we establish that new key. When I figured that chord, I was like, oh, Bryce, I got something. And I toyed around with those different chords, and then Bryce had fleshed it out the rest of the song and like the rhythms and all that stuff. But it was, I would say the key, the key to Doubt's second half is that like that key establishing F minor, because then we get into like, and we'll get into the chorus and I'll nerd out about the musicality there, but that landing that chord, I was like, oh, Bryce, finally, because I couldn't figure out a last chord to end that section. And then Bryce really brought the instrumental home from there. Even now, like, I'm not very savvy with like actual chord structures and whatnot. I can physically play things if I'm shown how to do them or if I'm doodling for a second. So once Hunter found the actual like melody, I basically just took that. I had the idea in my head of like what I wanted that rhythm to be for the chords at the end. And then that basically carries to the end of the song. I'm pretty sure we have a demo somewhere where I just like very blatantly did that to the end and then ended on like the same chord down or something. And then that's when Hunter added the very end where it kind of does that key change again, which basically forced Dave to end his guest vocal part on a major note instead of a minor. Yeah. Which actually, like, we didn't plan any of that, but based on just the song and how it's like overcoming your own like fear and doubt of failing and whatever it is you're doing, it ends on that bright note, and I think that's kind of a beautiful representation of overcoming your own doubt. Which, try not to sound generic here, but it really is. It's just like a musical inflection to represent that overcoming of that obstacle, and I think it's super cool. So yeah, that's basically how it came together. We finally got the second half fleshed out. From there, it was just tightening it up and Hunter adding his spice rack options, if you will, and fleshing it out from there. With establishing this key change, and as Bryce was talking about towards this end where it resolves on that A flat, there were so many different ways to go from there, because you have this progression going through the end, and where the melody is the same notes as the chorus melody. The sung part is the same as the other two choruses in the song, but the other two choruses are in C minor. To anyone who knows a whole lot about music, a key change, I mean, things will sound different, but F minor is a neighboring key, so we ended up adding that D flat. So now we're in F minor, but the thing is, the chorus melody had no D naturals, so it could function in F minor. So now, aside from being slower, around Jake, the melody has stayed the same, but now the key is more sad as he's holding to that lyrical emphasis still. And then he hits this chord, the chord with the choir here at the end. Very strong, colorful chord. And then Dave with the tag. So many ways, like when you have, like, any chord could go anywhere. And I'm trying to keep this like digestible for either theory nerds or non-theory nerds. So this is all very like playing a lot of chords here that could be in either C minor or F minor here. and then resolving on this A flat. A nice uplifting note, to which we don't do very often. So, you know, you want to make sure you mix it up. People appreciate different elements here, but that's one of those cool little noodles about the just the song, and I could geek out about different. Is there anything you guys want to chime in on, like the musicality?
Kind of going along with that theme of overcoming your doubt, that last note also being a musical representation of that. Lyrically, Dave also hit that, and he got our notes for our lyrics, but we didn't have all this planned out in advance, so he wrote his own parts separately. And so his line is, there's
You're blanking.
There's more and more that's making me stray, which is an inverse of his first half of that line, which is there's less and less that's making me stay. So him coming back with just that part is like him finally straying from the rest of the song, like those feelings of doubt and like self. I don't know,
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying. But it just adds to that theme.
It's difficult to really illustrate the meaning of the song without saying the title. It gets kind of awkward here, but hate official music video. Another thing too about the way that lands, I'm glad Dave did this, because musicality, like there's word painting here. Because you talked about triumphantly landing and overcoming. This chord goes down, and then he lifts up, and then we land right on the hilltop right there. And it's just little things like that.
Super
Chats
nerdy
here.
stuff no normal person would probably dive into, but it's cool details.
We've performed Doubt quite a lot at live shows, and it's one of those songs that's really you got to respect, because it's going a million miles a minute, and there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. I sing most of like Dave's parts, and it's kind of like back and forth between Jake and myself. But I guess in terms of moments like playing Doubt live, favorite sections, I mean, I like that it gets to a breakdown like in like 15, 30 seconds. Breakdown right here is like, oh, dang. And then we're right into the chorus. It's like, give me a second. Like
the first 2 minutes of that song is just how fast and how many breakdowns can we fit here, which is what I think that's what makes the second half so special. But yeah, my pick would be kind of a mix of the two. Like starting out that song is so satisfying because you're just going right into it, but the entire second half, once the like Dave's parts come in, basically, is really cathartic to play live.
Jake, John, what do you guys got about like performing the song?
Cardio.
Oh yes, it is nonstop.
Zombieland.
Oh, John, what about you? I know you contribute vocally on that song, but I think you'll be doing a lot more here pretty soon since you've become a great singer.
I mean, I contributed like for one show, but in the very beginning, it was really just keeping up on that first riff.
I have a bad habit of nudging John towards parts that are way too difficult.
Hunter just hates bass players, so he writes them to be second guitars.
Yeah. We're coming in on like the last 15 minutes here. So any kind of random questions or thoughts or like picking apart our brain that you guys want to throw our way as we're coming towards the end of the stream? Yeah, be a minute before we do another one of these things, or maybe it's right around the corner. You never know. See, and then Jared's like, yeah, favorite nostril to pick? The right one, I guess. Favorite way to eat a Pop-Tart? I feel attacked.
Yeah, you should.
Oh, my favorite way to eat a Pop-Tart is I don't eat them anymore because they're like a trigger food for me. But when I was eating Pop-Tarts all the time, because when I eat Pop-Tarts, I have to eat the whole box. I tear the package open and there's like 2 Pop-Tarts there. Well, just go and dive on in. Just bite both of them.
He eats it like it's a burger, and it makes me want to scream.
Yeah, I can't stand the people who eat a pack of Pop-Tarts like at once, like both Pop-Tarts, double decker, Big Mac.
So I remember the first time Jake saw me eat a Kit Kat, like the king size where it's got the 4 sticks.
God.
He saw me
into it.
So I remember
I was like, God, dude, God doesn't forgive everything, dude.
I remember, I think we were at the homestead, and I opened it, and I just took a huge bite. Like, I didn't break anything apart. I took the Kit Kat, and I just bit into it. And Jake just looked at me like, oh, God, you're not going to heaven.
What are you?
Like, it was over. Okay, everybody's just memeing on me now. Like, let's see. Okay. Casey with best karaoke song. John, you should go first, because you're the guy tearing up karaoke all the time. What's your best or your favorite karaoke track?
Man, I beat up some Metallica in there at one point. Is there that or almost anything Nirvana?
Caleb with Slayer. Yeah, Slayer is definitely one that John needs to do. I'm sure. If you haven't already, have you done any Slayer tracks?
I have not,
You
actually.
need to.
I'll give you $20 to go up there and just go. "Whoa!"
Sold.
Oh, Casey says favorite burger toppings. I mean, crunchy water and the red ring of death.
Nice.
I really appreciate some sautéed onions.
Oh,
Yep,
and mushrooms.
I'll agree with that. Mushrooms are good too. I don't know. If I'm going classic, I want tomatoes, like some bread and butter pickles, grilled onions, and some grilled jalapenos.
I should
All right,
have.
we're gonna need to move on from this question.
I should have eaten before we started this. What about you for a burger, John?
I'm basic. It's just mustard, ketchup, and pickles. And cheese.
Mustard, ketchup, pickles, and mustard.
Still no
Mustard.
pickles.
You like Krabby Patties, don't you, John?
Oh, gosh. Freaking got SpongeBob on deck, too. You need to get your Squidward rounded out, Bryce. Do you guys have anything else you guys, like my guys, Saints, you guys have anything else you want to say about like maybe doubt or like just random facts or anything like in closing thoughts for like concluding like this release and what have you?
I'm just happy my hair finally discovered gravity.
Yeah, because you had that loaf for so long.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anything else?
I guess I'll get cutesy with it all. There's been so many years, so much stress that's led up to even just the release of Doubt, let alone everything else that's coming. I just want to give a big thank you to everyone that's been so patient. It's definitely not going to take as long as it did to get everything else out.
You'll get annoyed with us in the coming months.
That is the goal.
Yeah, Bryce, what about you? Anything before I read these last bits of chat?
Thank you all for giving us an excuse to inflate our own YouTube numbers by replaying this video as many times as possible. Yeah, kind of building off what Jake said, I am super grateful. Even you guys, just everyone who's been in the chat, even if you just popped in for a couple seconds, like, it's super cool. You'd spend your time with us. I know we've been quiet for a long time, and that makes it kind of hard to be consistent, which is something we're working very hard to fix. I'm just excited to be putting out more content, not just the music and accompanying videos. There's just a lot of stuff we're brainstorming every day basically on what we can do to add to all this craziness and make it fun for us, make it fun for everybody who tunes in. So thank you guys for sticking with us for so long, and I'm excited for you all to be rewarded for that.
I mean, you guys are the great. Like, we're hanging out with you guys. Like, it's awesome. I appreciate having everyone here. I could go on ad nauseum, as many of the people here know, about the musical details of different things or like different elements. But I mean, you'll hear from us a ton more about like different songs. We're gonna have varied experiences from different tracks that I think everyone's going to appreciate. And if you don't, well, I like it, so that's important. Casey, time to hate each other. Least favorite saint, go. Me. Oh, I would say that is my least favorite saint. I am difficult to put up with. I'm aware of it. You guys? Yes, cool. They all agree. They don't need to chime in on anything else. Let's see. Caleb, we're here for the ride. Appreciate you. We got hearts all in chat.
Deafening.
Yeah, okay. No, I changed my answer. It's Bryce. Thank you, everybody. Till next time, y'all take care. Thanks for tuning in, and big preach. Y'all have a good rest of your night.